Happy Sunday, Real Writers. Chris here for your weekly Journal with Me session. Thanks for joining me again. I recently counted back the videos and we've crossed 7 months. So if you're just joining me this week, we have 7 months of videos, weekly videos for you to go back through and choose from to write anytime you want, journal anytime you want. This also doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a writer to journal with us. Journaling is really a wonderful place to start if you'd like to be a writer, but you don't have to be, because it's also just about self-care and, reflection, processing events in your life, celebrating events in your life, places to go for answers and to ask questions and to dream. So today we are using Colette Reid's Spirit Animal Oracle deck. I was talking last week about how I need to use some other decks because I was using a lot of the same ones, and I want to branch out and use more of the decks I haven't used in a long, long time. We'll start in the middle today with number 1 and then go left to right. So 1 in the middle, 2 on the left, 3 on the right, just shaking things up. I don't know why, I want to do that. So we will start with the card in the middle. And that is Elephant Spirit, Learn from the Past. See what I mean? The artwork is always absolutely beautiful. And, depending on which card you pick in this reading or any reading in future videos or past videos, you can go back to that card during the portion where we're journaling and pause. If you can't see it as well on screen, pause the video when I'm holding the card toward the camera and maybe meditate on it a bit. That might add some depth to it. Learn from the past. So let's go to the booklet. I'm not doing reversals. There's no protection message today. She does have them, but I am not going with protection messages because I haven't, because I've shuffled the deck but then just put everybody back upright. I didn't want to deal with protection messages today. I think we all want to just have a positive message today. Not that her protection messages aren't positive, but I think sometimes they can it can make you feel anxious to get a reversal. And since I just talked about anxiety today, I thought we would just go with the straight up card. Here's the message. Although we often wish we could leave the past behind, Elephant Spirit reminds us that memory matters. We must respect the wisdom of the elders who hand down to us traditions they have shaped to express our connection to each other and respect for the community. What has come before informs what we are experiencing today, and we must never forget our legacy of strength and dignity. Elephant Spirit appears with the message that we are to acknowledge that which came before and learn from it. All of us are memory-based creatures, and we must revisit the past to understand where we are and where we are going. The stories of events you experienced, the stories in our collective memory, and the stories of relationships you have had can be told many ways. What story will you tell? Elephant Spirit is here to encourage you to make it one that stirs in you a sense of power and dignity, for you have honored yourself by choosing to learn from your past. Spirit rejoices at your willingness to learn and grow. So 2 things came up for me with this, and one is, what is the story? I mean, I think what people often do with cards like these or messages like these is, what's the story that you're telling yourself that's the wrong story, that's sort of trapping you in whatever situation you're in, or making you stuck, or not bringing to you the things that you hope for? Sure, if you want to write that, if you choose this card and you want to write that, please feel free. What is the story you're not telling? What is the story from the past or the present that you are avoiding? That too is something that, until it's brought up and expressed and gotten out, is also going to keep you stuck, keep you in cycles that don't work for you, and make you feel like you're not deserving or frustrated, and that no matter what you do, things aren't happening or working out the way you hoped. The second is that, again, and this is going to come up in readings probably and through the end of the year and the beginning of the year here and there, we're at the end of the year. We're, less than 2 months away from 2020. I'm sure many of us are looking forward to that for probably the same reason, but, or, personal or professional or societal or, environmental or planetary, whatever, however big you want to take that. So, what is the story that you want 2020? What story do you want to tell for 2020? I often find that people say, "Oh, dream big, blue sky, blah blah blah," and I try, and I like that idea, and it's fun, but I don't know, and maybe it's just me. I'm just not at that point yet, but it's very hard for me to say, "Oh, sure, that's going to happen. I'll just write it down and dream it, and I'll dream really big, and that will make it happen, or that will bring me closer, or whatever." I mean, maybe that works for some people, and I'm not saying it doesn't work at all. It's just part of me is a little skeptical of that, so I don't really do that. So if you are the same as I am, and if you are a blue sky person who believes if you write it down you can make it happen, share that in the comments and we can all learn from you because you're amazing. But if you're like me and you need a little bit more reality and practicality, maybe write the story for 2020 that you feel you can achieve, that is beyond your current boundaries, that is, challenging yourself and pushing your boundaries and stepping out of your comfort zone, as much as you can stand, but keep it grounded and practical and realistic so that you feel it is achievable. And then maybe for fun, write something super crazy in a good way. So consider that. What did I say I was going to do? I was going to go to the left. So this is Lizard Spirit, dream the world into being. Okay, how funny. So this goes well with what we just discussed. I'm going to make sure that's in focus. Dream the world into being. So we just talked about what you might write today if you were choosing number 2 about your story. This seems to be encouraging you to dream big, if that resonates with you. Let me just look at this card because it's a little hard to see this because the lizard is between it looks like 2 blades of grass in a plant. So it's a tad hard to see it. There are wings. There are wings and lovely coloring. So it's pretty clear that this lizard is blending in, though. Blending in quite well to its surroundings. So I'm not sure how that fits in yet. Let's see. Dream the world into being, Lizard Spirit. Oops, I just passed it. Okay, when was the last time you basked in the sun and allowed yourself to daydream, to imagine what might be and who you might become? Lizard Spirit appears when you are called to let your imagination flow and dream something new. Inspiration is available to you now if you are willing to slow down and let your eyes close a little, allowing ideas to dance in your head. What might come into being if you were to pursue your dream? How might you grow and expand if you allowed yourself to dare to believe in the impossible, making it possible first in your dreaming mind and then in the world as you co-create with Spirit? Give in to the power of imagination, and soon your dream will become clearer, and steps will reveal themselves, and what was ephemeral will begin to coalesce into form. Dream it and be it. Spirit asks you to dare to dream big. Okay, so clearly these cards are chastising me for the reading I just gave you for the Elephant Spirit card. It's telling me, you're wrong, Chris. That is not what you should be telling these people. This card is saying dream big and dare, and you don't know what's possible. It could be anything. So yeah, I mean, I'm still going to push back against that because I think that's a message a lot of the time in cards is just, you don't know your power, you don't know what's possible, just let go of any and all boundaries and da-da-da. And I really would love to know how many of you have tried to do that and what your success rate was. I think that sounds really good on paper, and I think that we are all powerful beings, absolutely. But I think we are also all in varying degrees of owning that power and understanding it and accepting it and feeling comfortable with it. And so that in and of itself affects where we are on this spectrum of dreaming big and allowing the imagination to take over. So if you feel like this is the moment where you can really let loose and dream big, go for it. But if you feel like you're not, there's no shame in that. You are not less than in any way. You are on your own path. You are in your own you're at your own stage of where you are in terms of your power and imagination and manifesting, if we can use that term and go there if you'd like to. Some people feel that's a little too not new agey, metaphysical, and they don't feel comfortable with that. It's up to you, but wherever you are on the spectrum is fine. Please do not feel the pressure to dream huge, and because if you feel in your heart that this isn't really you who's writing this, that you don't feel comfortable doing it, then this defeats the purpose of journaling, right? So you go as far as you feel comfortable in this exercise today. If you want to challenge yourself to do that, then do that. But if you want, like I said, if you're feeling like you need to keep one foot on the ground and think more practically in your journaling today, if you're going to be telling your story, your future story, or owning a past story, or just visioning for something wonderful to happen in future, then that's totally perfectly fine and reasonable, and you are not less than if that's where you are. If you don't feel like everything you touch is magic and gold and all that, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing. This is supposed to inspire you. But if it doesn't, keep one foot on the ground and do what's best for you. So here's number 3. This is pig spirit. And it is use your mind wisely. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, there it is. That's what I just said. Use your mind wisely. This is a choose your story kind of story where you choose what you can do. Here's, the pig has wings here. When pigs fly, use your mind wisely. Yes, if you want pigs to fly, they can fly. But if you think that's not realistic, that's fine too. A pig stays on the ground. Either one of these is fine for you. So I feel like this is so interesting to me. I'll go to the reading in a second. But here we have the middle card, which was, talking about what came up for me was telling your story, either the future or something from the past that you haven't dealt with yet, or if you like, acknowledging whatever story you've been telling yourself that isn't working. And then on the left side, we have dream big. And then on the right side, we have this more idea of dream wisely, more realistically. So that's so interesting that they all sort of feed into one another, and you have the central idea, and then on both sides you have 2 different pathways to get there, to use the center card. Also, I noticed that the 7, elephant spirit is a 7, which is about sort of solitary introspection, going within, and then on either side, lizard spirit is 38, which adds up to 11, and pig spirit is 47, which also adds up to 11. So we have this bookend effect of these master numbers. So wow, that's so interesting. Okay, cool. Let me give you the pig spirit reading, and then we can go into journaling. Pig spirit appears to remind you of the right use of intelligence, a gift we all have that is meant to be used with love, compassion, and discernment. Intelligence means recognizing the value of intuition, partnered with smarts and common sense, which leads to intelligent solutions. When pig spirit appears, you are called to respect your analytical mind and use it for the highest good, recognizing that all facts must be considered even when they do not fit with what you know already. Spirit blesses us with wisdom when we allow pig spirit to nudge us into open-minded, thoughtful dialogues, whether with others or internally, as we mull over our ideas and what we have come to understand. You are intelligent and capable of clear-minded thinking, shaped by the wisdom you have accumulated and the intuition that will tell you when you have more learning to do because not all the facts are in. Now is a time that your decision-making powers are reliable, for you are in alignment with Pig Spirit and its keen intelligence. Very interesting. Recognizing that all facts must be considered even when they do not fit in with what you know already. So that's a very responsible and wise way to handle this journaling exercise today. If you're going to dream big and go off into the imagination, is to still, if you feel like you need your dreaming to be grounded in facts, that's fine too. You can use this time to consider all of them before you decide what is actually possible for your story for 2020, or to look at the story of 2019 so that you can let it go. Or if you feel like you're stuck in some kind of cycle, what is the story from the past that was repeated in 2019 or just keeps repeating and you need to find a way to let it go? Maybe this is what you process in this journaling session so that you can let it go. You might, in that case, rip those pages out of your journal, tear them up, burn them safely. Don't just throw them in a candle or a pot in your house. If you have a fireplace or you have a fire pit outside or whatever, safely. You can also tear them up and flush them down the toilet. I've done that before. You can also tear them up and bury them out in the woods somewhere. Go to a park and bury them somewhere. If you do that, bury them deeply enough so they don't resurface. Don't put your name on anything. Don't use stationery with your name, address, and cell phone or email on it. So if it comes back up, someone might put it together and find you. People are curious beings, and if I found papers buried in the ground, I would totally tape them back together and see what that said. So, choose your path there, how you'd like to get rid of these things. So let's get into journaling. That's our 10 minutes, everyone. I think. Actually, I wasn't counting. So sorry if I shortchanged you. Please keep journaling. If I did, apologies. I guess I'll find out when I edit this how long that actually took. I ended up, and I hate saying this, but I did. I ended up making okay, I'm going to call it a plan instead of a resolution for next year, and something I'm going to be starting now. I have been really, really fascinated with the idea of minimalism and subscribing to a lot of blogs and videos and other things about it, even as I go to the bookstore and buy more books. So, little contradiction there that I need to work on. If only books could be worn as clothing and do double duty or something, that would be amazing. But I guess I could have, someone needs to create a bunch of dresses that are books you could read. There's my challenge to somebody out there. So I need to I need to get a handle on that. But moving out of the house a year ago, I still have so many things in boxes that I just could not face. And so they shove them in some closets that I don't open. And so my goal is to get started on that and just get rid of things. I want space and not clutter, and to leave room for good things. I think perhaps if I create more space in that way, then the story I can tell will expand. Maybe the things that I haven't let go of physically from the house and belongings and things I don't need. I mean, if they've been in boxes for a year, how much could they mean to me, right? So maybe getting rid of that is changing the story and telling a new story. So that's what came up for me. I would love to hear what came up for you, or any questions or ideas you have about things that you want to discuss in journaling, or ideas you have for it, or share even just one sentence from your journaling. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and a good week ahead. If you are anywhere but California, you're in for it in terms of the weather this coming week, I think. So everybody stay safe and warm, and or cool if you're somewhere where it's going to be very steamy. I think there are parts, besides California, somewhere in Florida it's going to be steamy. So take care of yourselves, and happy writing.